So Drake just filed a second legal motion against Universal Music Group. And in light of that, I want to not only talk about this motion, but also talk about three songs that I've been listening to today from these three guys that I think can help me and you guys understand a bit more on what's going on here, right? So now this second legal motion is interesting because it actually speaks to the content of Not Like Us, right? And the legal motion again is still against UMG, not against Kendrick Lamar. What I find interesting about this motion is it's talking about the contents of Not Like Us and saying that those accusations were false. And instead of UMG choosing not to either release or distribute the song, right, they chose to promote it, finance it, and execute a plan to make it a mega hit, right? The plan succeeded, likely beyond UMG's wildest, expectations. To that, my pushback to Drake is, hey, brother, you also released a song with false allegations against Kendrick Lamar, at least from what I know, right? Same thing, at least from what I know on the Not Like Us record. Now, to the audience, though, you guys got to pick because damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? When the first legal motion came out, you said, hey, Drake, why would you only focus on the bots, the streams, and payola? Right now, this time he's actually arguing against the content. What I like though is don't sue another rapper, and he's smart enough to refrain against that. But I still know what the optics is gonna look like. Now let's get into those three songs that I was talking about. The three songs from these gentlemen that I was talking about that I just been listening to all throughout today that's helping me understand, get to the truth is America's Got a Problem remix by Kendrick Lamar, Beyonce song, Red Button from Drake from the Scary Hours edition of For All the Dogs, and the Lucy in Port Antonio from J. Cole this year. Now, the reality is, for someone like me, I love all three of these guys' music. I'm very fond of them. So I think that if you try to perceive or receive each guy's point of view and think that there's some truth to their perspective and their point of view, we can see what their common goals are, their ulterior motives are, and then try to piece this together what the reality is of what's going on here, right? So we get the common goal out of the way. The common goal is, listen, they all wanted to be the best from their inception, right? So let's start with the first song, America's Got a Problem remix by Kendrick Lamar. Now, this song came out in May of 2023. I don't have to speak too much to it because a lot of people, as the Great Shinobi rap wars happened, a lot of people were able to kind of sort of go back and go, whoa, he was talking about Drake the entire time. But if you don't know what's going on, I'm going to try to help do my best to break it down for you again, but then speak to the context of how I'm looking at it now, right? So remember, there have been speculations that Beyonce had an issue with Drake on the House album, right? He had worked on Beyonce's House album, and then he went and did his own album, right? So sort of maybe undercutting Beyonce. So you get a song called America's Got a Problem. And then as you've seen the rap battle just go on with the way Kendrick painted Drake as this foreign Canadian guy who's not in tune with the culture, right? We can sort of say maybe, when he heard that song and heard that hook, to him, America's Problem was Drake, right? So now let's go to the lyrics. Say, America's got a problem. Geeked up, choosy lover that chose violence, right? That's him. That's Kendrick. Universal, please don't play possum. I'm a businessman doing as follows. Truly, I be lying in my rap songs. I always fail to mention Osh Glaff, homie. His career didn't come with no life insurance. Hope his day one fans got some facts on him. I'm an honorary beehive. Let's see why. Okay, let's stop right there. Those are the lyrics that I actually care about. Okay, so what are we seeing now in this lawsuit, right? Whether they're all facts, whether there's some facts, right? You see that from 2023 all the way to now, Kendrick's theme has always been, listen, I want to get sort of like the ulterior motives. I want to rid America of this Canadian vulture problem that I deep down may believe is a morally flawed human being. Now, before things escalated, he may have just probably been taking the approach of competition. And if I take the number one spot, this will rid us of this guy. It may have escalated to more, in all fairness. But now we take this lawsuit against Universal and we see the words Universal, please don't play possum. Play possum still means that someone wants to play, right? They act like like you don't see what's going on. I have a problem interpreting this because if I wanted to interpret it as, Universal recruited Kendrick, right? Then I can interpret it as, he's saying like, hey, listen, the best you can do, Universal, is don't act like you don't see what's going on, right? Don't act like this isn't a problem that I have to get rid of. Some of you may interpret it as him maybe requesting help from Universal. I don't think that's what that is. But I could see your point of view because the next line is I'm a businessman doing as follows, right? So it almost sounds like a hitman, right? But I think if he was, it would have been a hitman for Beyonce specifically. Anybody else he thinks has been wronged by Drake, right? That's why that line, I'm an honorary beehive, let's see why. You get what I'm saying? Again, these are all plain words, but you get the point, right? So when we're going to get rid of Drake, we see that his career didn't come with no life insurance, right? So my conclusion on America's Got a Problem is it remixes. If there's any truth to that lawsuit, it would show that Kendrick was working towards his own personal goal, which is, remember, common goal, competition, ulterior motive, rid, I guess, the music industry of Drake, or at least take his spot, right? But the lawsuit, if there's any truth to it, will show that he was coy and or just willingly blind to the assistance that he may have received during the rap battle, right? Because you remember that lawsuit states that Kendrick's team at Interscope, the record labels and execs at Interscope, were the one doing this, and that when he wanted to sue UMG, with Interscope being on that umbrella, they instructed him, hey, no, go sue Kendrick. Drake's team opted not to do that. Then we get to Red Button. Again, like I said, common goal, wants to be the best. But Drake's ulterior motive, I don't think it's like super honorable. For me, no. His ulterior motive is he wants to maintain the status quo, right, of being a commercial success that can renew his contract and still continue to move with a bit of impunity in terms of his relations with individuals, particularly in the music industry, right, and continue to not have to adhere to hip hop's unwritten rules. And I want to read between the lines here, right? A lot of people thought this thing was only directed to Kanye West, but you said they got you to the spot and then you separated. Reasons for it speculated. We know how it escalated. And after the post-rap beef, you start thinking about is who's they got you, who's you. To me, I interpret this now as Kendrick, right? Like, I know, Kendrick speaks like I'm against the industry. I'm not a media darling, etc. But for me, I've always seen Kendrick as the appointed rap savior. And I think that's what people like Drake would be saying, right? But I always think Kendrick's always worked hard for it. Now, he's saying reasons for it speculated. We know how it escalated. Then he's speaking about himself here. Rarely celebrated, grade 11 educated. Radio is king again. Billboard game regulated, right? Want to make it fair for you. I was thinking, who was that you? Numbers that I generated. Fair for you now, to me, is Kendrick Lamar. Do right and everybody no debt away. Now, the Taylor Swift part is interesting, right? Because, again, ninjas could just be rapping, but the whole thing that Drake has been trying to push now with this Taylor Swift-Kendrick connection, this is starting to make more sense to me. Taylor Swift, the only person that I ever rated, only one that can make me drop the album just a little later, right? And we get that realize that everything premeditated. This is Drake speaking now. He's starting to realize everything. Everything was good with me, meaning people were okay with me in the industry being that guy. Then everyone's expression faded. Everyone, to me now, is not only just the audience per se, it's now these executives, right? But then we get to this ticking time bomb and they're begging me to detonate it. If I press this red button, dog, everybody's heaven gated, right? For me now, it's like, oh, that red button maybe could be something like this. He maybe couldn't have pinpointed that it would be a lawsuit because the beef had not happened. But maybe he pinpointed that he would find a way to reveal certain games that industry people were playing. Now, to me, though, this is a zero-sum game. And then we talk about Drake's ulterior motive in a second because, yeah, you could benefit from this, but dog, who's to say the machine wasn't working for you as well? Because for me now, the truth is after the battle is I don't think Drake is ever some kind of revolutionary. I think he's just hated the system now that's being used against him, but rightfully so, right? And he's agitated and he's willing to take everyone down with him, more so because of the content of that Not Like Us song, right? But however, the irony of this is although he's never aimed to be some revolutionary, right? The byproduct of this individual goal is that it may turn into the person that he's never wanted to be, that he's always avoided to be, right? The person that actually ends up changing the music industry outside of just breaking records. And it's almost like a role reversal, right? You got Kendrick saying he hates the industry, but then you got industry people backing him, maybe without his, approval. And you've got Drake, who's always been seen as a media darling, that industry people are now doing things against him because they can't stand his guts, mostly probably because of his fault, right? And how he's moved. And then we keep it short, sweet, and simple with Port Antonio that came October 10th, 2024, and it pieces all together, right? Remember, the common goal was supposed to be that they want to be the best. But the first thing he says is, Jermaine is no king. He admits, I can't be the best. If it means I got to dig up dirt and pay the whole team, right? Some of what Drake and Kendrick maybe was doing. Drake specifically is the Bitcoin line from Kendrick, right? but then this one speaks to UMG Spotify, of algorithm bots just to sway the whole thing. J. Cole tied it